Welcome to episode 110. Thank you for joining us. This week, we're trying a new segment we're calling Tavern Talks. For all of us who have spent time around service members, especially Marines, we know that sea stories abound. I've heard it said that the only difference between a fairy tale and a sea story is that one starts with once upon a time and the other starts with this no kidding happened. So, we thought, why don't we get some of these gems immortalized on air? And what better place than a podcast called Scuttlebutt? Well, Scuttlebutt fans and fans of Scuttlebutt you shall have. To kick off our inaugural episode of the series, we brought our own Colonel Chris Woodbridge and Sergeant Major Justin Lehew into the studio to join Vic on the panel, moderated by Nancy. What could go wrong? This was a lot of fun, and we hope to have many more Tavern talks in our future. Enjoy! Hey, Scuttlebutt listeners, thank you for joining us. I'm really excited. For this episode, we're actually kicking off a new segment that we're calling Tavern Talks. And so to join me in our inaugural episode, we've got the editor-in-chief of Gazette and Leatherneck magazines here for the Marine Corps Association and Vice President of Professional Development, Colonel Chris Woodbridge.
Hey.
And we have, and I mean this not tongue-in-cheek at all, but honestly, a Marine that we all aspire to be like, and a godfather of the Amtrak community. Sergeant Major Justin Lehew, thank you so much for coming in.
Hey, always happy to make good on those payments I made you, Vic.
Yeah, actually, I think I'm in arrears, so I'll we'll put it on my tab, I guess. But yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun. So, sort of the impetus behind this episode and this series is that as anyone who's been around any service members, especially Marines, we all know that sea stories abound. And they're all a lot of fun, and they take up a ton of time where you're actually trying to get things done. So we figured, why don't we get some of the greatest sea storytellers in a room, and let's codify this, get it into the ether, and just make it a thing, and let's have a lot of fun with it. And so, a couple stipulations. Heroism is always implied when we're talking about Marines. We're talking about sea stories. So what we're going to do is kind of veer a little bit into the outstanding, into the hilarious, and
My man.
partially grotesque. No insults. If you're going to berate someone, don't use their name. And yeah, let's just have a lot of fun with this. And so I will turn it over to our moderator, Nancy Lichman. Thank you for being in here to wrangle us into
thanks
some
for
sort of
having me.
cohesive
I'm a little
episode
afraid right
Chief
now.
cat herd.
I'm a little afraid.
This is
but,
going to be some cat herding.
You should be. Yeah.
This is
welcome to Tavern Talks, everybody. Like Vic said, I just want to reiterate the ground rules here. Don't implicate anyone in anything illegal. Don't insult
that's a
anyone
big one.
by name. I'm not saying don't insult anyone, just don't name
call 'em out, right.
names. Keep it real, but not too raunchy. And by the way, Vic came up with these ground rules. I disagree with all of them. No heroics here. Only the real stories.
I'm shooting for the Christmas bonus is why I did
Yeah.
all this.
Oh,
Nice.
right. Yeah. That's
Very nice.
That's where we are with this. So thank you guys for being here today. I'm really excited to
This
hear
is fun. This is going to be fun.
some epic sea stories. And just a little quick introduction. Justin, you and I came up with this idea sitting around drinking beers
In
at
a parking
lot in
Is there another place to
Chantilly.
drink beer?
No,
Okay.
there's a lot. There's always places to drink beer. But a parking lot outside of a hotel
7-Eleven.
after you've walked a couple of hundred
Oh, it wasn't
miles.
for like a Piggly Wiggly or something?
No, it
No.
was
No.
legit. It
It
was
was
there.
a hotel parking lot.
It was, and it was one of those venues in which there are other people that are probably sitting inside the hotel that want to enjoy their night as well. So the Marines just take the party into the parking lot,
Yep.
and we're doing those people actually a favor. They just don't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
We're actually doing that. And then Nancy rolled in after the end of a very long work day, braved traffic in the National Capital Region, and
That's
came out
right,
and
I
saw
did.
us that day.
To sit in a parking lot and shoot the shit and get some good ideas. So,
This
all
is
right.
a good entryway into the conversation.
Yeah,
Nancy.
here we go. So I want to start with first question today for each of you. What is the most memorable Marine Corps birthday you have had? Whether it was the most fun or it's memorable because it was a total shit show. Who wants to start?
Sergeant Major, please.
Oh, I'll tell you, there's probably a couple. One, any Marine Corps birthday in which a short person shows up in the middle of the ballroom, whether it's dressed as a leprechaun, dressed as Santa Claus, dressed as anything else, is going to be a very memorable moment for everybody. Number two is if you are hosting a ball after a combat tour in which you promise the individuals who came home from that tour, I will provide you with an epic ball. Once they come home, you have to make good on that. So everybody on the West Coast is very apprehensive with leadership about allowing people to go to Vegas, especially recon battalions and that to go to Vegas. So ball number two would be taking recons to Vegas after the end of a very rough deployment in 2009, in which those individuals performed magnificently. And you give a stack of cards to all the police officers, firefighters, everybody else that says, if you have a problem with any of my individuals, you call me. And we will dispatch an individual to come and pick them up. The individuals did none of that type of activity. And in the other side of the ballroom was a concert by Jimmy Buffett.
No way.
Who said that the Marines were some of the best dressed people he had ever seen.
Nice.
And he asked if he could have permission to come into the ballroom to spend some time with the Marines in the ballroom.
Outstanding.
Awesome.
And the last one would have to be sitting next to then General Waldhauser, Tom Waldhauser, as the guest of honor for a ball, and have all the lights in the ballroom completely black out in the hotel, of which this is going to be bad. And I feel earlier something next to my leg crawling out from underneath the table and disappearing. And then when you see the lights on the ballroom come back up and the curtains fly open, you have the battalion commander dressed as Elvis, flanked by the S2 officer and everybody else that are wearing pimp hats and all of this, dancing to that song, Tonto, Jamone, Jamone, Jamone. And then have General Waldhauser look at you and go, I see you have your hands full with this command deck. That would be some of the most memorable times I've ever had.
When we go offline, I gotta
Marine
get
Corps
some
ball.
names.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. I don't know how you're gonna top that.
Oh, I'm not even going to try to top it. I can just build on that foundation. First and foremost, if Ton Tavern Talks is going to be all about sea stories, you have to remember what the difference between a fairy tale and a sea story is. A fairy tale starts once upon a time. A sea story starts now. This is no shit.
Yes.
And so I'll start there and get in the Wayback Machine a little bit, because this was most memorable ball because it was my first Operating Forces Fleet Marine Force ball. Brand new, second lieutenant, West Coast, 7th Marines, when they were still located at Camp Pendleton before we were banished into the desert. But there was a 1st Marine Division officers ball that took place down in San Diego.
Nice.
It was just for the officers. And back then we wore dress whites.
Yes, absolutely.
right.
We had the dress
That was a
white,
great
the dress white
Immortalized
uniform.
by Major Payne.
Yes.
Mhm.
So there you go. And so we're all driving down there. Now the hotel is all booked, so we're kind of spread around the city. And most lieutenants were having to stay at Motel 6 or some place like that. The Dewdrop Inn. But we show up at the ball and open bar, and we'd all done prep fires, shots beforehand. A bunch of us had been down in Tijuana because you could do that.
Yeah.
So we're down there drinking tequila and soul beer, and we come back and we're descending on the hotel, and things started to happen. Strange things. Officers of varying ranks started showing up with their wives or their girlfriends or their girlfriends du jour. The 32nd Street debutantes coming in, and it was remarkable how well known some of the most senior officers were. When the captain or the lieutenant is walking in with his quote unquote date, who's clearly a professional woman, and looks at the division assistant division commander or staff principal colonel, Bob,
Yeah,
good
Carl.
to see you. dirty dagger looks from the officers' wives. How do you know that creature in the fishnet stockings and the 9-inch stilettos? So, questions there. So it starts to get, more and more interesting. And we do all the traditional cake and food and all that, and just more and more booze. But I can wrap that one up because, again, memorable, I don't know, because there's significant blackout periods. But at some point, things happened, because the next day I'm waking up on the floor of a motel room, Motel 6 or whatever it was, and my dress whites were unrecoverable.
Yes.
The grass stains, blood, rips. So what exactly happened may be lost to history, but it was violent and emotional. So lots of fun there. But as the sergeant major said, those post-combat deployment balls are certainly some of the most meaningful and memorable. And Vegas 2005, it wasn't actually November, so we weren't able to do it, but we did essentially a homecoming ball for the battalion.
Nice.
And our this is 1st Battalion, 7th Marines at the time, and our Vietnam and Korea chosen reservoir vets who had been corresponding and supporting us while we were deployed out in Anbar Province also came to this ball.
Wow.
Oh,
cool.
Corporal from Al Qaim in 2004, 2005. Corporal at Chosen Reservoir. Corporal in the Ridge, the Ridge Runners in Vietnam, all sitting at the same table.
That's outstanding.
It's really special. It's really special, and there's some drinking that goes on.
And that was well said, because a very good point on that was, it's not so much tied to an actual date. It's the fact that regardless of where Marines are at, and regardless of the time period that Marines are, even if they were in combat at that time, there will be a bayonet cake cutting in combat uniforms on that day, but that does not mean that there will not be a larger celebration, whether it's December, whether it's anything else, when they come back, to actually officially get dressed up in those uniforms, and also put the fluoride in the water, like Colonel Woodbridge said, say, who lives in this region that was ever a Marine, they are invited to the family gathering.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So, Vic, have you got a story you want to contribute, or can I move on to
No,
the next
I
topic?
do have one, but
Okay.
I probably should have started.
Mm-hmm.
Batting cleanup.
Tough batting cleanup.
Yeah, batting
It is.
cleanup with these
Oh, yeah.
two, with these two all-stars. Mine actually happened in country. My most memorable one was in Abu Hayat in 2007. We had just gotten there, so I was ADVON. As the company commander, I went ADVON. So I was there in September. Main body comes in October. So we're still sort of getting used to the AO, getting used to our Iraqi counterparts. And so now the ball comes around, and it was, I guess this is nothing on him, so I can say his name. But then Colonel Clarity, now retired General Clarity, was the RCT2 CO. And he said, it's the birthday. We're in country. I authorize any Marine, regardless of age, to get 2 beers.
Yep.
And so my company gunny, being a fantastic Marine and knowing logistics very well, puts every Marine who, like, if someone had bumped someone in the chow hall, he's a Charlie Company Marine.
They're in our
And so
unit.
every Marine who is ever remotely associated with Charlie Company 3rd Tracks gets put on this roster. And so for the birthday, here comes this LVS with QuadCon full of beers. And they're just shoveling pallets out. And we have some Marines, due to religious convictions or whatever, they don't want to drink. And, we had the standing rule. If you're going on a patrol, can't participate, we'll do something for you guys later. Or if you're going to be patrolling within 24 hours of this thing, you have to wait, and we'll set your beers off to the side.
Sure.
But needless to say, we have way more than 2 per. And so we're like, well, let's make this a family thing, like we're talking about. We're here with the Iraqi guys. I know they're Muslim, but, a lot of these dudes know out in the West and not understanding a little bit about these folks. Like, let's at least invite them up. We got plenty if they want to participate. So some of the Iraqi soldiers came up. We did the cake cutting, had some beers together. I mean, here we are in this like shitty little patrol base in the middle of, just right next to the Euphrates River south of Haditha, having a birthday celebration, kicking back some beers with Iraqi soldiers and all of us together. It was really special.
That sounds like a great experience. Did you take any pictures?
I'm sure they're buried somewhere deep. Yeah.
Well, it's actually a perfect segue to my next question, which we talked about most memorable birthday balls. What are some of the most austere Marine Corps birthdays that you all have celebrated? That was a perfect lead-in for that, Vic.
It ties into everything that Vic does. The austere ones are where you know you are going to celebrate. You know the basics. There will be a reading of General Legern's message. The KBR individuals or whoever is running chow halls know that they have to make a certain type of cake for whatever forward operating base is out there, because the Marines are gonna. This is just what they do. And even when you enter the battle space, that's right up front in when you're discussing the layout of how 6 or 7 months of this operation is going to go. Believe it or not, the Marine Corps ball is planned for in the operations. It says during this time period in these mess halls or whatever, there will be the steak and lobster dinner. There will be ice cream. There will be something that they're not used to almost every given day that they relate to, that knows that this is a very special occasion. And when you cannot gather all of those individuals together, when you are the senior leadership of those kind of situations, you can't bring 160 people to you, but you can go to 160 people. And probably some of the most memorable times that I've ever had is hitching rides on the back of LAVs, 5 tons, whatever is leaving a forward operating base, because you are not going to commission a specific convoy to do something of that means. If you're going to put somebody on things like Route Michigan and everything else, you're doing that for a purpose. And and God help if you're going to be the commander or somebody that said it was running birthday cakes to wherever. So the way that you do that is simply that. It is, there are convoys moving all over this AO. There are air that's coming in, or this is going to this base, or this is going to that base. And that it will mean more in the world for that individual to watch for 2 or 3 minutes an Osprey land, the back end open up, and sitting in a fighting hole, having their commanding officer or their first sergeant or sergeant major, their company gunny or anybody deliver a piece of birthday cake, because everybody's back at those bigger fobs celebrating. And they have the extravagant layouts with all of that to just say, happy birthday, Marine. And I'm going to go to the next fighting position, or I'm going to go to the next fighting position, or having recon Marines that are on drop zones that night, and you're doing combat resupplies. And so what you do is you take little Ziploc bags, and inside the pallets that you're going to throw out of the thing, you take the Ziploc bags with birthday cake and everything else, and you write a little note. This is happy birthday, Marine, and you shove those pallets out the back. And when those pallets of water or whatever get to the ground and they go over there, they see kind of a, quote, little love note that's in there that says, thanks for what you're doing. And we'll kick this up a notch after you get off of this 14 or 15-day patrol that's out there.
Nice.
Yeah, that's resonates so much with, I think, a lot of folks' experience from operating in that, kind of distributed environment, small combat outposts, folks everywhere. I think every CO, every sergeant major makes it a point that you'll balance, hey, we don't want to expose folks unnecessarily by moving around the battle space, which is always a challenge, always hazardous. But we're going to deliver a piece of cake, birthday greeting, slap on the back to every single Marine, every single place that we've got folks, out through the hinterland, and it became a major operation. Trains, planes, and automobiles. I mean, we've taken my sergeant major and I used Hueys to bring cake out to small combat outposts in Huseba. We used the existing patrols. Hey, put this on the back. Also, along with the rest of your resupply, you're getting your birthday cake and all that. Actually, to Vic's point, when in Iraq in 2004, my second tour as a battalion commander, it happened. The Marine Corps birthday fell during Ramadan.
Oh wow!
So again, with our Iraqi special forces counterparts and other Iraqi interpreters, one small accommodation. We just wait till sundown before we start having and they were so appreciative of that and respectful of what we were doing. I think they might have thought it was part of our religion, but I guess it is. I guess it is when you come right down to it.
Oh, it is.
It's a cult.
But the place where it's not part of our religion per se is when you're on ship with the Navy. And just a quick anecdote. This is mid '90s as a company commander deployed on with actually the Mech company. I was lucky enough to have that AAV platoon.
Lucky indeed.
Yes. Check under every deck plate after every Liberty port. But that's when the birthday happens. And the thing is, as we know, the Navy birthday is pretty close proximity, and they did absolutely nothing.
Yes.
So that when it's our turn, we're saying, well, no, we're doing this, and this, whether y'all want us to or not. Our ship's captains, our ship's first lieutenants, the senior Navy guys, just completely baffled by what we're doing. But by God, we're going to do it, and you can either join in or not. Some get it, some got it, some got on board, but a lot of men you just can't reach. And so there is a real, I don't want to say divisiveness, but just a different approach to life in general that makes the Marine Corps unique.
Yes.
As I've said, it's some of the most bizarre behavior you'll ever see. People who are not related, not the same family, have totally different birthdays, will wish each other happy birthday on the same day as if they were all related. And being deployed on an amphib, I think at best they sort of look at you like the crazy uncle who's in the attic and let you do what you're going to do for that 24-hour period. But no, the Navy does not celebrate in the same
And a lot of
way.
Marines don't understand that either. Okay, so how they're groomed is we've all been in battle spaces, or not even, just on bases and stations around the world, joint staffs, co-located, anything else. And the other fascination that actually the services have with how fanatic the Marines celebrate their birthday. One, the other services want the invite to the birthday party.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they know it's going to be the birthday party. Wherever Marines are stationed on embassies around the world, they host a birthday celebration that everyone in the nation wants a ticket to the Marine party that they're throwing on. And I truly do believe that since 1775, it is everything that is written in the three stanzas of the Marines' hymn that is the only service song that has the words fight or fought in all three of them, and tells basically the battle history of the U.S. Marine Corps. When you have veterans from Chosun, you have veterans from Tarawa, you have everything else who have seen certain levels and have bonded in certain things, there is just this electric feeling of every generation. And the Marine Corps birthday every year is the most electric event that draws every generation, regardless of who they were, regardless of their differences, regardless of the times that we have going on now, where we may have other generations not saying that, we don't agree with this, or we don't agree with this, or why are we offloading these certain aspects, or why are we doing this? Come November, every single one of those people put all that aside. They all come together, and they really do. It is a brother and a sisterhood that I believe is, when shown, it is the best recruiting thing aside from a uniform that the American public identifies with. It is, people see that. Even when they're civilians, people see this time of year, the internet blows up and we can't even make posts, right? Because the Marines are going to take over the internet to do this. And then they want to know why. And then even in the United States, in the most remote little hamlets in America, there will be 6 or 7 Marines of different generations that go to a VFW or something and they say, we're going to do this celebration. And they're celebrating the heritage of Marines since then. They're not celebrating their specific time for the most part. They're celebrating, like I say, that fluoride in the water that has made the Marines successful for that entire time period.
Well, in Sergeant Major, it's totally infectious too, because for anybody who's been either on MSG or anywhere around an embassy internationally, I mean, it is marked on the calendar for the ambassador or the chief of mission or whomever there at the embassy or consulate. It is a huge deal. I mean, even in Dubai, where everything is going on, the city shut down for the Marine Corps Ball.
Really?
I mean,
Yes.
The consulate, I mean, everybody was, I mean, it's VIP red carpet at the Burj Khalifa. It's a huge deal. I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, we had sheikhs, we had, like I said, we had all of the diplomats, all of the folks from all the different agencies, the heads that were coming out. And then we had the one down in Abu Dhabi as well, same thing. I mean, it is a big deal, and it is the fluoride in the water, and you may not fully get it. It's like with fluoride, like I'm just drinking water, but all of a sudden I've got strong teeth, my gums are healthy. It's the same thing. Like, you're around Marines come November 10th. It's just something you do. Like, this is so exciting. It's so electric. I want to be a part of it.
And
so,
and you go to those embassies during the pandemic would be the greatest testament to this. It is almost like if you go on any base and station around America or around the world, that flag is going to go up in the morning and it's going to come down regardless of what is going on. Regardless, there will be Marines that go out there and raise and lower that one. No one is watching. And even they could just sit in the building and go, there's nobody here but us. They'll never know. They will go out because they feel that responsibility to do that. During the pandemic, those embassies and everything else may not have thrown the wide scale thing, but even in embassies and those hot spots that have 5 and 6 Marines, there are 3 or 4 Marines in the embassy that night on 10 November that is celebrating by cutting a cake and bringing them, and they're walking it to post 1, or they're doing whatever because they're not calling all the Marines off. And most people don't know the embassies look out for each other. So in years of non-pandemic stuff, if Paris or Dublin are doing that, it is such a big event that the regional coordinators will fly embassy Marines from one embassy to another. So those can stand the coast in Dublin to let the Dublin Marines party for their ball, and then the Dublin Marines will fly to Paris to stand those posts so that family can get together to have that. That is how important it is.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. No, that mutual support, because the duty roster, the watch schedule is the watch schedule.
Is paramount, too.
It does not, you can't take a break.
Correct.
And so that cannot be interrupted, but if you need to take people off post and give them time to themselves, you got to backfill them. And so that's where the again, the regional coordination goes on amongst those embassies. And in some places, that's a challenge in itself.
Sure.
West Africa, the tyranny of distance,
Absolutely.
of flying from Accra to Ouagadougou is a little bit of a challenge, but they will make it happen. And it's sort of the commitment of our extremist cult that comes from that fluoride in the water. What always impressed me are what I'll call the kind of the unorganized militias out there, because it's when it's near Jacksonville, when it's near Oceanside, when it's near Quantico, when it's in Vegas, New Orleans, there's a natural draw there, and there's a population of Marines, but when it's the hinterlands and places like Rome, New York, or
Hickory, North Carolina,
Philadelphia, Mississippi, on the Indian territories in Oklahoma, there are no Marine bases around there, but they're Marines, Marine veterans, parents, families of Marines, and sometimes it's just in someone's backyard. But by God, it happens every year, and everybody in the neighborhood knows about it. And it's like, well, why are we having a party, today? It's like, oh, Bob was a Marine. This is Marine Corps birthday. See the flag? Let's go over
Nice.
and pay our respects and have a beer and eat some food on Bob.
That's right.
And then, if there happens to be a bar or a watering hole that can host it, I think of, Patty's down on Route 610 here in the Quantico Garrisonville area. That has become a major event, annual event in and of itself, complete with, active or retired general officer, guest speakers, sergeants major, and Marines from all over this area, and as far away as Boston, New York, Florida, the Carolinas. And who knew, right?
Who knew?
Who knew?
Well, if you know, you know.
That's
And
right.
some of this is if you know, you know, and if you ask, you may not ever know. So
Yeah.
You may not want to know. Well, so what do you Marines have going on this year for the Marine Corps birthday?
Vic, what do you have going
Vic?
on?
We've got the. National Capital Region is one of the places where it's sort of an epicenter. So there's obviously the Commandant's Ball. There's all of the unit things going on. I will probably on the actual birthday, which falls on a Friday. Is it Friday this year? The 10th.
It's Friday.
Yes, Friday the 10th.
I'll probably have cake with my kids, and then we'll watch Heartbreak Ridge. No, I'm kidding.
Full Metal
Nice.
Jacket, maybe?
Yeah. No, but we'll have cake with the kids. They love the birthday balls. I've got pictures in my office of them in their little dress blues from when they were younger and stuff. They absolutely, because it's a cake day. They see it as Daddy's birthday is the cake day.
Nice.
So here at the association, we do our annual cake cutting ceremony. We're actually doing that on the 9th, and then on the 10th, I mentioned Patty's. My father-in-law and I he's a retired Marine as well. Have a tradition every year. We'll go there, and that's about it for this year. No big ceremonies, for this particular season, but. At least that's the plan right now. Got to see what other invitations come in and see what happens.
You never know, right?
All right. I will be bullshitting my way around the Americas. That is there.
What's new?
It is, right? So ball season for me started last week in Auburn and Tuskegee, speaking to those two universities. And phenomenal time speaking to those naval ROTC midshipmen that are down there, especially in today's day and age. With what they're seeing on the horizon is graduates or anything else coming out of there. And they're also, there's not a lot of individuals that are out there now from the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq that are the MOIs or the EMOIs. We ebb and flow through those. And so they have a lot of questions and they have a lot of things that are out there. And then making my way over to the Amtrak brothers on the West Coast. And also there's a phenomenal ball that is always hosted every year in Southern California called the Soldiers of the Sea Band of Brothers Ball. And it is an all-Marine, all-generation ball where business leaders, people and all that come in together. And they host, no Marine ever pays for a ticket. So the Marines of the past pay for those of the present, and anybody that's still in uniform, whether it's 5th Marines, whether it's the Amtrak School, whether it's 3rd Tracks, whether it's LAR, it doesn't matter. They buy numerous round tables to host them and their families, and all of those business leaders come together to just say thank you. Thank you to the Marines, and a majority of the business leaders, and not only the community is, they are very successful individuals who have worn the uniform. So it's a phenomenal thing because it also shows those that are in uniform, the people who are out of uniform they can relate to, that helps ease their transition. And actually says, generationally, here's all of us. We all wore that. We all did what you're doing. and you will eventually be us.
Right.
And here's my card, here's this, let me help in that process. And that is a phenomenal way outside of the TAMP and TAP and the transition program of just the network of Marines out there that just says you're going to come up on some hard times, just like you did in the Corps, but give me a call. And I found out during the birthday season and everybody else, it's really a great social time to get people who would never approach somebody with their problems in a festive environment to get to know who they are, how's your wife, how's your kids, and you will find out the information in your line of questioning will then lead you to the mentorship that the individual is looking for that they don't even need, that you can provide just by saying, here's my card. Remember, if you need anything, just give me a call. So it's a phenomenal ball to go to, and that fills up November for the most part. So we have the beginning of November, the end of November, and then back here in the National Capital Region doing National Capital Region stuff.
And what kind of theme is there for the messages you're delivering this birthday ball season?
And that's a great question. The message is simply this: regardless of what is going on outside of America or outside of the gates of that, if you can take, there is no question what the U.S. Marine Corps has provided, will provide, and the mission of the Marine Corps. And you don't have to get into the theory or the technicalities of the specific language in the National Command Authority of what the Marine Corps does to that. No, you are into the layman's terminology that 99% of America, of that age-old adage that says America wants a Marine Corps, doesn't need a Marine Corps. I think that every generation has to still reinforce to them why they want that. And the theme of that is, if you take the 3 stanzas of the Marines hymn, it is a blueprint of what the Marines have done for this nation, what the Marine Corps will continue to do for this nation. It doesn't talk about, like Colonel Woodbridge said, it doesn't talk about, and it's not putting it down, it doesn't talk about, farewell to sweethearts, we sail at the break of day, and it doesn't talk about off we go into the wild blue yonder, and it doesn't talk about a lot of these other things that are here. It is violent, and it is as vicious of anything in its terminology, which relates to 248 years of why our nation has Marines, because they need people to do that. And they need the Marine Corps to be the most ready when the nation is the least ready. And right now, I think we all kind of know, with everything that's going on out there, with the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq that have depleted the war coffers, that has aged equipment, that has done that, when a lot of us older generation people are starting to say, why are you telling us that this may be the most dangerous times? They say you were in the cemetery fight in Najaf. That was dangerous. You were in every generation has had it. Way City. It doesn't matter. It goes all the way back to New Providence Island when guys are trying to assault beaches away from their home nation. This is what Marines do. But those targeted areas at that time that we had to go do things, America's being presented with a lot of different things that we call dealing with the horns of the dilemma of a lot of things coming at you at one time. And we are still a fighting force that has roughly not grown in size or decreased in size for a lot of period. And those Marines are going to be the first ones in every one of those fighting holes placed around there. And so that is the confidence that is out there. It is showing them this isn't just the love of a demented old man for his family. It shows them strip all that emotion out there, and you take the facts as they are based and make your own opinion. And this is why we come together to celebrate. This is why we honor that. We also reinforce to them that they are the finest fighting force on the face of this earth. And regardless if they are outgunned and outmanned in that, what people just don't understand is it's not about the ammunition. It's not about the tools and the equipment. The Marine is the deciding factor on the battlefield. When you build this platform and bolt everything else on it, these other countries can come at us 20 to 1 odds. I'm here to tell you, the Marine themselves makes up the fear factor that says, like in 1950, when we're intercepting radio transmissions from the Chinese, and they are saying, do not strike the yellow legs, go around their positions and strike the U.S. Army. Well, the yellow legs were the Marines. And the reason the Chinese were saying that over that is because of the canvas leggings that Marines wore were a different color of the green. And they found that they took tremendous amount of casualties whenever they assaulted those type of positions. So those radio transmissions said, bypass them, go around them and strike these individuals that are here.
Well, it's the same thing in Haiti when they were saying, "Don't mess with the white sleeves."
Bingo.
Because the Marines had their sleeves.
The Marines in Afghanistan don't hit the black diamonds. And why was that? Because the helmets that they wore, the NVG mounts, was a black diamond on the front. And they said, do not strike the black diamonds. Go around to do this. And so that is, we're talking about 100 years right there between what Vic and I just said, from Haiti to the cold of Korea to the mountains of Afghanistan, where foreign adversaries are constantly looking for ways in their battle plan to deter around Marine positions. And that is what the Marine Corps provides the nation. And that is the reinforcing fires that every birthday ball needs to be put into the next generation, that regardless of what they're hearing out there, your generation is weaker, that's all bullshit. Because every generation that's came before teases the other generation that they're not freaking hard enough or this. But warfare doesn't skip any generation in here. So we need to have the battle line as solid as it's ever been. And that's why I tell veterans and everybody else, when you're sitting, the Sea Story is awesome, right? This whole platform of Sea Stories. Because when you go to a Legion, a VFW or something, it's nothing but Sea Stories.
Exactly.
It's all bullshit. Okay, it's all bullshit. Everybody's a veteran, everybody's force, whatever, everybody's this, right? But they're all drinking beer and they're all doing this. But the one thing that the veteran population can do out there to be a force multiplier is when they invite the active duty people into there, even though when they're regaling them with sea stories, is tell them that you are still the baddest individual on this planet. Your generation is and we are proud of what you are doing. Not sit there and wank about how your generation was harder than the next generation, because we have a larger community of veterans. And when the younger ones hear the older ones, the chiefs of the village, saying, we admire what you're doing, thank you for carrying the torch, that is put into them, that amplifies the combat power of that individual on the battlefield. Even when the chips are down, they're going to say, this position will be held on my watch, because I will not let down these generations who came before us. And that is the resounding theme on any ball that I talk in 2023 around the nation.
Damn.
The tribe is big and the tribe is powerful.
Yes.
And the tribe embraces all those generations, to include the Marines who are doing it right here, right now. We have 26th MEU standing the watch, holding the line right now, south of Gaza. And I think General Smith cut to the chase and said it in a way that no one else has been able to say it. So if that MEU goes ashore and you try to interfere with them, someone else will raise your children. That message, and that comes from years of General Smith as a grunt commander in Iraq, Afghanistan, how to communicate to potential adversary. Those young Marines, those youngest members of the tribe, will prove themselves exactly the same way all their forebears did, and we'll celebrate them for it, and we'll wish we were there with them.
Yeah, and I guess to echo all of those sentiments, I'm much in the same vein as what you were saying, Sergeant Major, is like we have even within our Corps, we have multi-generations. You know, as a Gen Xer, I had millennials under my charge, and it was very easy for us grunge kids to look down and go, these guys are soft, man. Like, what the hell? But I've never been more impressed
by a younger generation than our time in Iraq. And to see a kid 20, 21 years old take on the level of responsibility, perform in a way that was ferocious but yet humane, vicious but gentle, and to take on, to lead a squad of 13 Marines as a 21-year-old and to take them outside the wire into a world that literally wants to kill them and to perform in the way that they did. I've never been more impressed. When I was 21 years old, the most impressive thing I did was drink until 6 a.m. and then still make it to class.
Excellent.
And to have any
And
concept.
here you are,
It's
Vic.
good
Here we are.
practice. It's good practice.
That explains a lot.
It's reps and sets, right? Reps and
Yeah,
sets.
reps and sets.
And so just to put myself in their shoes, and also too to remember that at the time that we were in Iraq, those Marines had just come off a deployment where they were fighting with a lot of the same people, like fighting against a lot of the same people that we were now fighting alongside. And so for them to go, for me to tell, hey, Corporal Chapman, hey, Staff Sergeant Acosta, I need you guys, just the two of you, to take this Iraqi police out and show them how to do community policing. And you're going to live with them. And I know 6 months ago, you're probably going to recognize a lot of these same faces because they were shooting at you and you were shooting at them. But now they've come to our side, and we got to teach them how to do this thing. And so I need you to do it. Amazing stuff. So anyways.
So as we talk about those generations, I think the next time we meet and have our Ton Tavern talk, we're going to have to report back on maybe a little bit of a contest, because we know we give the oldest Marine and youngest Marine present to their first 2 bites of birthday cake, and one of us is going to be at a ceremony, and that youngest Marine may have been born in 2004, 2005.
Yep.
So who's got the youngest Marine that they've touched during this birthday season? Well, let's report back on that. I think I might have the winner, but we'll see.
Nice.
Because when you think back on where you were when they were born, it makes you feel that much older.
That's a great challenge, and we do have a time crunch today, so that's a great way to wrap this up.
Last thing, Nancy, just as we head into the ball season, let's also all be very grateful that General Smith is on the mend. Wish him a speedy recovery and a happy birthday.
Yep,
Absolutely. Thank you, Marines, for joining me today for the real deal, the Ton Tavern Talks. Start collecting your sea stories. Get them ready for the next time we meet, because I want to hear more.
Yeah. This is going to happen.
Absolutely.
Happy birthday, Marines.
Thanks, gents.
Thank you very
Appreciate it.
much.
A common axiom is that those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Another axiom is that we sweat in peace so that we don't bleed in war. Here at the Marine Corps Association, we fully understand both. That is why we offer, through our professional development page on our website, a comprehensive catalog of battle studies, tactical and ethical decision games, and war games to ensure that not only do we learn from the past, but we embrace the thoughts and decisions that influence the outcomes of some of the greatest actions of the Marine Corps. We have tools and techniques that will enhance both unit training as well as enable comprehensive self-study. Check out all that the Marine Corps Association has to offer on our website. Go to mca-marines.org/professional-development. That's mca-marines.org/professional-development. And get your reps and sets in.
Scuttlebutt is a production of the Marine Corps Association. I am William Truding, but you've also heard the voices or contributions of Vic Rubel, USMC retired, Nancy Lichman, retired Frazier. The opinions expressed in this episode do not reflect the official stance of the Marine Corps, DoD, or Marine Corps Association.